okay? So what we want to know is, what is Ayurvedic cooking, right? But it is an observation and response type of situation or relationship with your body. How does your body respond to food? How does your body respond to stress while you're eating your food? All of those are key factors. I just wanted to touch on Ayurveda is definitely not a vegetarian or vegan. I know a lot of people think it's that. It's not, as Rich kind of pointed that out with some of the gunas. But also, it's not a keto, it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle change. Okay, so when you go into anything, you definitely want to be in a mindset of, this isn't, I'm going to a party, my birthday's next month, just so everybody knows my birthday is next month. So I want to lose 10 pounds because I want to be get my Beyonce on. Well, this is not that for you. Okay, this is going to be a lifestyle change. Yes, it probably will, because you're putting all those sattvic foods in there. You're balancing what you're eating. Rich touched on the doshas, right? So we all have a little bit of pitta, we all have a little bit of vata, we all have a little kapha. However, each season, it correlates with the season. So summertime, hot, fiery pitta is the summertime. So we want to be careful on how much spicy, acidic foods we eat, and we want to be a balance. You can eat everything in moderation is okay, especially when you're eating in line with how your body's talking to you. If you eat something and you immediately fall asleep, not supposed to happen. We need to rethink and kind of look at what that's your body talking to you. That's that observation and response. You need to respond to that, okay? So if your knees hurt, like my joints used to pop all the time. I was like in my 20s and my mom said, you need to give up chicken, right? I'm like, okay. Chicken's like the major protein of the world. Like, why would I do that? Well, guess what? It was the lectins in the chicken that my body as a pitta it was harder for me to process, and it would get stagnated in my joints and creating that other dosha, vata, would kick in, and it would just put my body out of balance. And I didn't know, by doing what everything was in my heritage, if you will, with eating all these kind of fried foods and a lot of chicken, it just wasn't working. And my body was talking to me. My body was talking to me, and I didn't respond accordingly. So then some other things, it started to pile up, and I noticed some things. So I'll leave it there, but we're going to get to the good stuff. So today we're going to have a chickpea pasta with summer squash and tomatoes. So this is a really quick, easy dish that I use, and it's going to touch on all 6 tastes. So with Ayurveda, there's 6 tastes that traditionally you want to try to get in each meal. Yes, I know it sounds a little cumbersome, but it's really not. So you have astringent taste, you have bitter, you have pungent, you have sweet, salty, and sour. So it sounds like a lot to get into a dish, but I'm telling you, you're eating some things that you don't even realize that have one of those qualities. So I'm going to get to it. So I'm going to change my angle of my camera a little bit so you guys should be able to see. So I have a pot of water back here that you probably can't see, but it's just boiling hot water. I'm going to put my chickpea pasta in. You can use any pasta you want, really. Chickpea pasta is technically a little bit healthier for you. It has all the vitamins. You don't have to worry about the gluten if you're one of those folks. And honestly, a lot of gluten is, it's glue. It's what binds the things together. So imagine what that glue is doing to your insides when it's time to breaking it down. So just a little tidbit for you. So on a medium heat, I'm going to start with ghee. Technically, ghee is really easy to make, but I was running out. We use it all the time. So this is store-bought ghee. It's pretty good, but we need some type of oil. I usually tend to go with ghee. Even for some of my vegetarian clients, they'll go with ghee as well, because what ghee does is clarified butter. So we're removing all the milk fats, the milk solids out of it, and it just makes it a lot healthier. And in Ayurveda, you'll see ghee used a lot for medical reasons, because it's just really good for you, and it does all kind of fancy things that we will not get into today, but just know that it exists. Now, with any cooking oil, when you put it in your pot, if it starts smoking, take it off the heat. It's probably too hot. Ghee has a really high smoking temperature, so this is really good. It's starting to smoke up a little bit, so I'm going to turn it down just a bit. But what I have is I have 2 garlic cloves. I have about a quarter cup of onions. This is basil. I'm not going to add that in now. I'm going to be really careful with this because I don't want the garlic to burn, because you guys know once you burn garlic, it's a wrap. You got to start all the way over. And ain't nobody got time for that today. So we're just gonna, so there you go. So we're gonna let this saute a little bit, maybe a minute or two. Like I said, if it's too hot, let's see if you guys can see that. You can see it popping around. That's good. We don't want to fry it. We just want to let all the natural herbs and, essential oils come out, because again, we're eating things that we normally would eat, right? We always have garlic and onions in just about everything. But what the fun fact about this is, onions and garlic, not only they're antibacterial, they're antifungal, they break down toxins in the body. So again, with my situation and my knees and my joints popping, things like that, or if you had a really bad night out, you got toxins in your body, this is going to help break them down. And regardless of how you're eating and drinking, you got something in there. This is a very mild way to make sure that we're getting the bitter, astringent taste in. So we've got two out of the 6 in here already. Okay. Next, I got some tomatoes. Lovely tomatoes. I like the colors. The better the colors, the more the colors, the better it is for you. It's going to have the beta carotene. It's going to have vitamin C, vitamin K, B, folic acid, fibers. Tomatoes are amazing. My pizza folks, you got to be a little bit careful with tomatoes because they are a little bit acidic. So we don't want to go crazy with it, but we're going to add some sweet to this and some salty. So it's all going to balance out. A little bit is not going to hurt you, okay? This is what's going to make our sauce. These juicy tomatoes are going to make our sauce. So I'm going to let that sit there for just a couple of minutes. But not only are these tomatoes just beautiful, and they're easy to grow if you're on the West Coast too, by the way, but tomatoes contain, I shouldn't say carry, but they contain like an essential oil that helps break down, or I should say neutralize, harmful free radicals. So it's lycopene is what it contains, and there's a Harvard study that says lycopene has been known to neutralize the free radicals in various types of cancers. This is documented footage. So not only are these very, very pretty, and they were on sale at Fry's and Sprouts, but they're doing something for the body. Okay, so those free radicals, any time you can neutralize those in your food, we want to take advantage of that. So I'm gonna let this cook down a little bit more. I'm gonna turn the heat back up now that I've added more content into my pot. The heat level goes down, so then you can crank it up a little bit. But you never really want to go over a medium heat, okay? Any questions so far? Somebody have to read them out to me because I can't read the chat and cook. I'm not that talented. I'm talented, but not that talented. So as this goes, it's going to slowly release. You'll get the oils from the ghee. You'll get the juice from the tomatoes. It will automatically start going. And what we're going to do is about another, 30 seconds or so. If we weren't on a time crunch and you guys, were live here, I would take my time a little bit. But I'm going to scoot these over to one side, and I'm going to go ahead and add my squash. And this is just a yellow and green squash. It's seeded, so I just slice it in half and then cut it in half again. So I got these really cool half moon shapes. And typically what you want to make sure you do is you make it bite-sized. So when you imagine yourself eating this, you want it to be able to fit on your fork. So if I cut the tomatoes too small, your tomatoes will be falling off and your squash will be on there. You won't have an even bite. I'm big on making sure everything kind of fits the realm of what we're eating in. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. Usually Himalayan salt is typically what I use. I usually try not to use salt at all, but for this, because there's so much water and wetness in here, you kind of need that to balance it out. And we want to make sure we get that other taste in there, so salty is one of them. Okay, and we're going to add some black pepper. Maybe I mean, you do it to taste. A little, about an eighth of a teaspoon. And we're just gonna let that get happy. And this little cool case, I love these cases. I got these, I originally got these from IKEA, but they sell them at the dollar store. They're actually magnetic, so they stick if you need to get to them quickly. But I do grind my own spices, especially for ones that I use all the time. Black pepper, usually over time, because it's been sitting on the shelf so long, it can contain mold in it. So just know that about your off the shelf. So I get black pepper, which probably cost me $2 for 16 ounces, which will last me about a year. And then I just grind it as needed in a little spice grinder that I got from Target, and it was like $12. So anyways, back to this. So here we go. Now, squash. Squash is amazing. It's really affordable. B, it contains a lot of, it's packed full of vitamins. I won't go all down the list of them, but it's packed full of vitamins. The cool thing about this is it is pitta satisfying. It kind of keeps the pitta and vata really, they're good for it. So especially during the heat, the hot time, we need everybody, especially us on the West Coast, you need something to cool internally. You want to cool that body down. And all of these items are going to be easy to digest. So no matter, I'm sorry, did somebody chime in?
You have a quick question here.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Are the seeds in the squash good for you or not?
I'm sorry?
The seeds in the squash?
I eat the seeds in the squash. I leave them in. I leave them in. Now, I've heard things about, seeds in squash. I've heard about tomatoes, being toxic. And it's certain parts, it's not these types of squash. And the tomatoes, it's not tomatoes. It's in the past, like, I don't even know, maybe early 1800s, tomatoes were known for being poisonous. And it's actually the leaves of the poison that can have like an alkaloid toxin in it. And in excessive amounts, like anything else, it can upset your stomach and, make you feel like you're gonna die. But as far as these, I leave the seeds in, especially when I'm not using any cream base. I'm gonna come up here so you guys can see me. When you're not using a cream based sauce, or you want to get those natural juices and water elements out, so that's gonna create our sauce. For that, I leave the seeds. If I was making pico de gallo or some type of salsa, not to take this away from the zucchini, but anything, cucumbers, anything with the seeds, if you don't want it, if you want it to be a drier base, I remove the seeds. Other than that, look, I got 2 kids over here that are hungry. I have a guy that's, my son actually, I want to say this guy, my son's here making some videos so we can upload some stuff to the website. Everybody's hungry. Like, I don't have time for that. Like, if any extra skin on the potatoes, skin on your vegetables, I'm gonna leave it on 9 times out of 10, unless it's, I'm going for the aesthetics of it, or if it's, I have to cater to, if I'm having a younger audience, or a client that doesn't like the skin, I'll take it off. But that's where all the fun stuff, that's all where the nutrients and the vitamins in. When you think about food, you want to think about the life force that's in it. We talk about the energetics of food, and that has to do a lot with, the love that's put in it from Mother Nature. I want all of that, like, especially right now with COVID running rapid, like, any extra nourishment I can get, I'm leaving it in there. But it's up to you. If the seeds make you angry, then take them out. It won't take. And if you want a quick way, you just slice whatever it is in half, get a spoon, and just scrape them out, and then you're done with it. If you're composting, compost it. If not, then it is what it is.
They're high in calcium and zinc, so
there you go.
great for your bones.
Yep. Okay, so here we go. So that was roughly, I don't know, about 10 minutes, right? So this is what it looks like, what we have so far, okay? And you can see there's a little juicy stuff down here, okay? All good. We want all of that. And what I will say, what I will do, I'm gonna let this cook for about another 5 minutes or so. And I possibly will add a little pasta water to it to make it a little bit, get a little bit more liquid out of it. So if you ever find yourself, having a sauce or something and you're having pasta, always use the pasta water because it's got all the good stuff that we want in there anyways. Never rinse your pasta. That's a whole nother topic we'll talk about later. But we want to keep it as authentic as possible. We want to keep the integrity of whatever you're cooking. For us, it's going to be all these summer vegetables that are just going to be warm and grounding. You should feel light after this. You shouldn't want to take a nap. This is just one of those and one of the things that you got when you're switching over, or if you're coming back, or you're in it now, as far as Ayurvedic lifestyle, definitely know we're not calorie counters. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't OD on vegetables unless you're just eating the same vegetable all the time, and you notice that you start to smell and eat oranges all the time and everything is orange. You want to mix it up. Variety is key, but listening to your body. You can get vitamin C, vitamin D from just about every vegetable or fruit out there. But what you want to do is you want to mix it up. You don't want to always get vitamin C from your orange juice. You want your body to experience it, pulling it out from zucchini. You want it coming from kale. You want it coming from all different types of sources. You want to switch it up.